Hi, I'm Tuesday Night.
Hi there, this is Lisa Wilcox.
And I'm here to introduce A Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
With Sin,
Rick,
and Jay.
Of Splatter Talk Cinema.
Fucking A. Ciao.
What's going on, splatterheads and movie lovers everywhere? It's your man Jay, and you are watching Splatter Talk Cinema's Straight Talk Only podcast, the place where we talk about movies. In this video, we're going to continue to review the A Nightmare on Elm Street series with A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 Dream Master. This film was the first ever Nightmare on Elm Street film that I saw as a child. This movie is actually my favorite of the series for a number of reasons I'll explain during this review. So grab your Hypnosil, try not to fall asleep, and let's get into the review. Released in 1988, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master is the fourth installment in the iconic horror franchise that brought Freddy Krueger into the nightmares of audiences worldwide. Directed by Renny Harlin, the film leans heavily into the surrealist horror that has become synonymous with the series, while also incorporating a more polished aesthetic and an unexpected, playful tone. The story picks up where A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors left off, with the surviving teens of the previous film still haunted by Freddy's menacing presence. Kristen Parker, now played by Tuesday Night, who replaced Patricia Arquette, Kincaid, played by Ken Sagos again, and Joey, again played by Ronnie Eastman, believe that they're safe now and that they've conquered Freddy Krueger. However, Freddy, played by Robert Englund, is resurrected in typical gruesome fashion and begins to pick off the remaining Elm Street children. The film shifts focus from Kristen to Alice, played by the lovely Lisa Wilcox, an introvert daydreamer who becomes the film's dream master. Alice's arc, transforming from a meek outsider into a confident Freddy-fighting hero, is one of the film's most strongest elements. This character-driven approach offers a refreshing twist in a franchise often dominated by its antagonist. Renny Harlin's direction infuses his film with a vibrant energy that sets it apart from its predecessors. The dream sequences are visually stunning, blending unsettling imagery with 1980s flair. Freddy's death scene is more elaborate than ever, showcasing Renny Harlin's knack for over-the-top visuals. Highlights include Freddy turning a victim into a cockroach trapped in a grotesque roach motel, equal parts inventive and horrifying. According to fans of the series, this Elm Street film begins Freddy's journey into quip-filled one-liners that would eventually turn the Elm Street fans off. Robert Englund, once again embodying Freddy Krueger, strikes a balance between a menace and mischief. By this point in the series, Freddy has become a quippy, almost charismatic villain. While this comedic edge might dilute some of its terror, Robert Englund's performance ensures that Freddy remains compelling and memorable during this movie. Freddy Krueger's makeup would see notable changes due to the makeup effects artist Kevin Yeager not being the only artist responsible for the application and design. This is one of the best looking Freddy makeup designs in the entire series. Knowing this film would have Freddy stepping out of the shadows into the sunlight, Howard Berger and John Carl Buechler make Freddy look as menacing as he did in the previous film, while also pleasing to the eyes of the audience. Like A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, the one-liners used by Freddy in this installment have menacing undertones and are used at the right place in the right time. One-liners such as, "How sweet, fresh meat," or "How's this for a wet dream," hit their mark, while "If the food don't kill you, the service will" fall flat on its face. The one-liners will continue to get worse as the Elm Street series continues to move forward. The cast of A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 Dream Master comprises of young, attractive teens that the audience can actually relate to. Teens that would be a continuation of what the franchise had previously in Dream Warriors. Teaming up with the three survivors of Dream Warriors, this film would introduce the audience to Sheila, played by the lovely Toy Newkirk, Debbie, played by the lovely Brooke Theus, Dan, played by Dan Hassel, Rick, played by Andres Jones, and Alice, played by the lovely Lisa Wilcox. Lisa Wilcox delivers an outstanding performance, bringing depth and relatability to her role. The supporting cast felt very believable. It felt as if that they actually hung out in real life, one thing that a number of slasher films actually don't do. The cast's chemistry and Rennie Harlan's electric pacing keeps the audience engaged with fast pacing in the film. But beneath its flashy exterior, the Dream Master explores themes of empowerment, resilience, and the transfer of trauma. Alice's ability to absorb the strengths of her fallen friends is a clever narrative device symbolizing the collective power of those who face adversity. But Splatterheads, rating The Nightmare on Elm Street 4 Dream Master, I'd have to give it a close rating to Dream Warriors, which was a 4.5. I will give A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 Dream Master a solid 4, no pun intended. While A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 Dream Master may not have reached the heights of Dream Warriors on a cinematic level, its story and its execution remained on par with its predecessor. It also had a large box office drawing during its opening weekend, much larger than Dream Warriors. Over the life of the film, it ranked third in the lifetime gross with $49,369,899. Only the original and the abomination that is Freddy vs. Jason grossed more than Dream Master. The reason why I hold this movie to such a high regard is the issues that it had behind the scenes. During production of this film, the crew had to continuously work while there was a writer's strike in full effect. Talking with Miss Toy Newkirk at a Monster Mania con that I attended, she informed me that the script would be different each time that they came in to shoot the scene. They couldn't take the script home due to the impromptu changes Rennie Harlan would make to the script. It was pointless for the cast to memorize their lines, so the movie was truly made on the fly, and a wonderful product was the result. But the only gripe that I have with this movie is the one-liners, which I touched on previously in this review. While Dream Warrior strategically used its quips and its one-liners, it felt as if Dream Master turned the quip dial up to 11. While some hit their mark, there were others that fell extremely flat. It seems as if the longer the movie played, the weaker the one-liners got. The movie starts out with one-liners like, "One down, 2 to go," and "Tell him Freddy sent you," after Kincaid told Freddy that he would see him in hell before his death. One-liners like, "I want to draw some blood," while Kristen was visiting the school nurse for bumping her head, or "Sayonara, Rick's son," remain worthy of eye rolls to this day. But Splatterheads, I truly feel that the Dream Master started Freddy Krueger on a slippery slope when it comes to the said quips. They would get even worse in Dream Child, Freddy's Dead, and Freddy vs. Jason. Wes Craven's New Nightmare would try to tone them back a little bit because Wes Craven was on board. But overall, Splatterheads, I love this film. If and when I get the desire to watch one of the films from the Elm Street series, Dream Master is my go-to, with Dream Warriors continuously jockeying for that top spot. I have to give the nod to Dream Warriors in this series review, though, because of how complete the project is. But let's get into some scenes in the film that gave me nightmares after watching it. The scene where Kincaid is killed in the junkyard. From start to finish, that dream sequence is one of the most memorable of the series. From the moment Kincaid's dog, Jason, pisses fire on Freddy's grave, prompting his remains to reanimate, to the moment where Freddy stabs him in the abdomen and holds him close. The feeling of no escape as the camera pans out and shows the size of the dream junkyard, that scene haunted the hell out of me as a child. And how could I do a review of A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 Dream Master without mentioning the death of Debbie? Her transformation into a cockroach was something that reminded me of The Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum. This also has that one-liner, "You can check in, but you can't check out," as Freddy squishes the roach motel Debbie was trapped in. That is pure gold. I often found myself transforming into a bug myself in my dreams following the first time that I ever watched this film. So, Splatterheads, how do you feel about A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 Dream Master? Where would you rank Dream Master in the series ranking? Let us know in the comment section because we would love to hear from you. Also, if you want to help the channel out a ton, please consider dropping a like on this video and share it with your friends and family who love horror films. By doing so, you help the channel out tremendously by getting us out in the algorithm. You can also help the channel by subscribing and hitting that little bell so you can stay up to date with the releases from Splatter Talk Cinema and Straight Talk Only Podcast. So make sure you do that so you know when I release my next review of this series. My review of A Nightmare on Elm Street 5 Dream Child. For me, this is where the series starts to violently descend into dark comedy and not in a good way. I honestly can't call it a review, Splatterheads. It's more like a rant. So make sure you stay tuned. But this has been your man Jay, Splatter Talk Cinema, Straight Talk Only in this room. And it's a wrap.
One down, two to go.